Okay. Finally got the live stream up. Yeah, let me continue this playthrough of Final Fantasy XII. Remake, the Zodiac Age. It looks absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite games of all time. I played through it on the PlayStation 2. This is my first playthrough of it on the PlayStation 4. It's 2020, but I don't have any issue with starting it well after, you know, the game just came out. That's tough. We'll walk into the explosion trap. No issues. I'm pretty sure this game came out 2 years ago. Like I said, I'm just now started my playthrough of it. Like I said, again, it's not my first playthrough. I played through on the PlayStation 2. The game was completely different back then. Back then, you could manipulate it, get your hands on the Zodiac Spear, the strongest weapon in the game, relatively easy, by just not opening up a few treasure chests. I'm pretty sure this game is not like that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure you can't acquire the Zodiac Spear as easily as you could on the PlayStation 2 version. I remember the first time I played through this particular part on the PlayStation 2 version, and I ran into that Salaman Entite. I had no idea what was going on. I don't even believe back then I knew how to check an enemy's level. I just knew I tried to fight it and I got destroyed. But you know, with much more experience now and nowhere near the equipment to take on an Entite at this point, I'm definitely going to try to avoid it, but I bet they left that Entite in this particular area. And then not me into Sandsea, so I'm going to definitely try to avoid that. But outside of that, yeah, the game just looks amazing compared to the PlayStation 2 version. The PlayStation 2 version, it was not even close to HD. So there's a huge step up from that regard. Not only that, but you are limited to the PlayStation 2 to play it on, as well as the PlayStation 3. So you could have played it on a flat screen if you had the older version of the PlayStation 3. Those versions, that the very first versions of the PlayStation 3 that they came out with, that could actually play a PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. Those are antique. They'd be a steal if you could get your hands on one of those on this game. But if you did have those, you could play Final Fantasy XII. That's annoying. All these traps. I suppose you got these Uritans running around here. I guess they're setting traps, but with Vossler in our group, it makes our parties walking range greater, and it makes us more susceptible to traps, which is not very attractive. But yeah, if you had that old PlayStation 3, That's what I'm saying. I'm being really careful peeking around these corners. I don't want to run into that N-type. But if you had that old, one of the first versions of the PlayStation 3, as I mentioned before, you could play Final Fantasy 12, and it would have it would be through an HDMI cord on a flat screen. However, it wouldn't be output in HD format. So this remake was well warranted. I was extremely happy when they made it. One of the big changes, like I said, outside of you being able to easily collect the Zodiac Spear, is that in this particular game, there's a class system, which I think the Japanese version had, but the American version, when it came out on the PlayStation 2, it did not have a class system. Every character could use all of the same weapons, every character could use all of the same armors, which could lead to, there it is, holy moly, and I see what tank it is on, and I definitely want to avoid that thing. Yikes. Like I said, I never forget the first time I ran into one of those and I battled it, and it just completely mopped the floor with me. I mean, it's a floating ball of energy. Like, that is one of the most epic looking creatures I've ever seen. Absolutely awesome. Look at it. It's cast and reflect on the Oritons as it passes over the tanks. Oh man, I can't wait until I gain enough power to actually be able to face one of those. This is the first time I'm seeing one in HD. But look at that thing. Level 45, 48,000 HP, not even close to being able to take on something like that. This is going to take some time. I want to say before I get into the Goldmoor jungle, maybe. So after the Osmone Plain, so pretty much after I complete a few of these story elements here, I'm gonna probably have enough strength to take one of these guys on. I'm already in the I'm already level 25. I actually need to swap out my characters now because I do every 5 levels. I have 3 groups of characters that I run, and Vaughn and those guys are already on level 25, so I should go ahead and swap them out now. Check status. Mellows at 10,000. Yeah, they're ready to go. The rest of my party, they have half as much experience. But like I said, the Final Fantasy, the old version didn't have the class system. With this class system, it adds an extra level of strategy, because you can't give every character the same weapons and armor. So you have to make your party relatively balanced. And not only that, before every character could use the same techniques and the same magic spells. In this one, that is not the case. Only certain classes can use certain magic spells and certain techniques. And I believe even maybe even have certain accessories, but yeah, it makes for an interesting level of strategy, because the mage classes, they're not very reliable attackers, because they rely on MP, and your MP is not very replenishable, at least at this particular stage in the game. But it's almost like a new game if you look at it from that perspective. as you can see, Balthier cannot use the golden amulet. Bosch cannot use the golden amulet. And Lady Ashe cannot use the golden amulet. Let's see if I can go into the licenses and change that. Man, I haven't looked at this license tree in well over a year, if I'm not mistaken. But it looks magnificent in HD format. I mean, everything is completely clear. Crystal clear at that. No, you can. So I guess all of the characters still can use the same accessories, which is not bad. Well, here it says Bosch can equip the golden amulet, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on Balthier. I wonder if it's because Vaughn still has it on his person. Yeah. Well, that's that. One of the interesting things is because everybody can't use the same weapons. Before, you would only need 3 of each of everything: 3 weapon, 3 helm, 3 armor, 3 accessories. And once you swapped out party members, you could just take those items off and then put them on your new party members. But because of everybody's specific class nature in this game, you don't have to go through that equipment change. Everybody has their own weapons, so you never really have to switch them out, which is pretty cool. But and I think that, like I said, that extra level of strategy is not bad. You know what I'm saying? Giving you know, everybody their own specific weaponry and whatnot. But I definitely have to watch myself around this N-Tide. I definitely don't want to get caught on the receiving end on any of its spells. See, I'm using Lady Ashe to actually attack with her staff because the use of her magic skills is just not efficient at this point. I wonder about that. Having her attacking the foe party leader's target. Now this is interesting. What, they have 3? I didn't even realize that. Whoa! So you can set. Before, you only had like a total of 12 gambits, 12, 13 gambits that you can use. But in this one, they give you not only the 12, 13 gambits that you can use, but then different sets. So you have essentially 36 gambits that you could use. That's pretty interesting. At this, like I said, at this stage in the game, I don't think the use of these extra ones will matter as much. But I didn't even notice that. Like I said, I haven't played this game in over a year, but that's very interesting to note. As you can see, Fran, I've already maxed out all of her gambits. That's something I don't believe I've done. Right, I haven't put in a gambit for flying enemies for this second party. I don't particularly feel like doing that right now, unfortunately. I just wanted to turn that gambit on and see how it would go, but man, yeah, I haven't played it in like a year, but the level of strategy sure is not diminished. Like I said, I need to keep my eyes on that salamander Antide. I do not want to run into it. I have no idea where it disappeared to. It's probably over here, considering that you could... What are they called? Yucatans, I believe? Considering it has reflect, and then again, you see, because it has reflect, her fire technique will actually be reflected back at me, so I would want to take that gambit off. There's no telling where that thing went to. I've completely explored these fuel tanks, though. There's no point in me spending any more time here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go on to the next area. I see. Well, there's the central junction, which is the last area outside of the area that leads... Oh, excuse me, it's the Ogir Yensa that I'm in, not the Nam Yensa, so I titled this video wrong, but yeah, I need to go into the central junction, explore the central junction, and then make my way from the central junction into the last area of the Ogir Yensa before I make it into the Nam Yensa. But outside of that salamander Antide, there's not really anything else that you need to avoid in the Ogir Yensa. I'm gonna go ahead and turn her gambit back on, because she is not built to actually, you know, do damage. That's the other thing. Most enemies, they take physical damage, but there's some enemies that are immune to fire or have an extremely high resistance to fire. So it just makes it really difficult to just leave a gambit like that on. It makes it really difficult to attack with magical attacks, period, in this game, by way of gambit. But another reason why I want to leave it on is because it turns her into a ranged character, which can be good because you never want all of your characters in the same area to be attacked at once. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a peek down into the Zertinan Caverns from this angle as well. That's another area which my equipment is far outmatched to deal with the enemy. But I still want to take a peek at what's going on down there. I'm not sure if this is the area where those horses that can teleport are at, but you definitely want to watch that because they can teleport. You can't really run from them, and they're going to be really strong. So you're just asking for trouble at this stage in the game. But by far one of my favorite areas in all of Ivalice to explore is the Zertinan Caverns. There's just a plethora of different enemies. Look look at that. There's a plethora of different enemies down here, and I really like that about this particular area. As you can see, Lady Ash's fire attack is not doing very much, but it's using up her MP. Pretty soon here she's gonna run out of MP. But I mean, her physical attacks are non-existent with a staff. 91 damage. Look at that, I got my first gem. These spear tongues happen to be weak to fire, but I don't feel like that's worth me going back over and turning on that particular gambit. Maybe that I could see the use of using that second set of gambits to swap over. But this is where I'm going to go relatively deep into these caverns. I wasn't expecting it to go this far. Like I said, you don't want to go too far because the enemies down here are actually pretty powerful. And your equipment is just not ready to consistently battle these enemies on even ground. The fact that she's, like I said, those attacks, they're non-existent. The fact that this, the weapon that Balthier is using actually does magical damage is unique. Another trap, a couple of traps. That's the other thing. We don't have the float skill. You don't get that for some time. So the only way to really avoid traps like that is to pull one of those. Interesting. I wonder where this is about to bring me back out. Is it going to bring me out at the Nomius? With this many slimes though in one area, you can almost grind them if you wanted to. I don't know what drops if they would yield, but Yeah, Bosswood does help in this respect with Lady Ashton and her using that staff. His extra attack power actually does play a bit of a role. Yes, that looks like the Yensa. That's exactly what happened. I went in on the Ogier Yensa and came out on the Yensa, so I'm gonna have to go back in there because there's parts in the Ogier Yensa that I still need to explore. And just look at that. Look at the exploration that's left in the Yensa before I even get to the Tomb of King Wraithwall. This game is just extremely vast for it to have been a PlayStation 2 game. Just absolutely amazing. They put a remarkable amount of time into it. Just think if they were to have put in the same amount of time that they put in this PlayStation 2 game into every PlayStation 2 game, it would have been significantly different. I didn't feel like lollygagging through that trap, so I took the damage. But Bosch's HP it's pretty staggering at this point. He's well ahead of everybody else in that Ulan class. I have quite outside of leveling up my characters right now, I have quite a few licenses that I could probably use to strengthen my characters, but that power boost is not needed. So I'm gonna just let them build up. Probably until after the Yensa, to be honest. That's the power of the pose. They're a much more combo-oriented weapon. Sleep? Let's see. Absolutely love the inventory in this game. Slapping me around. Slapping me around. That's hilarious. It has one of the funniest sounds. Slimes are notorious for status effects. Princess Kiss. I Wait. Can I not use? I'm confused. I can't use I can't use the items on Vassal? That doesn't make any sense. There you go, buddy. Let me get back to slaying these enemies. That's what we call a pincer attack. Bossler and Bosch together. It's pretty strong at this point in the game. Their attack power is pretty high, even considering Ashes is pretty low. I feel like there's a good balance here. Whoa! I wasn't expecting to see a second Salaman N-type in the Central Junction. I don't remember there being one here. Two? One in the primary tank complex and one in the Central Junction? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's very disturbing, to be honest. If I can get him to come this way, I should be able to flee past him, but I don't even want to flirt with him. Because it uses magical attacks, it can attack from a distance. But I want to make it down there on the desert part, and I want to finish exploring that area if I can. Oh, look at him. He's down there party out, reflecting up those Oritans. I'm not messing with him. I'm gonna leave him be. I'm gonna bide my time. I'm gonna be back for you Salamander Entice. I'm gonna be back to get your Salamander Halcyons. I'm gonna be back to get your life energy. Oh, somebody's gonna break my chain. The El Rune. I don't mind it. At this stage of the game, these chains are of inconsequence anyways. But look at the definition in that El Rune. You can clearly see all of the detail in its design. It's absolutely amazing. It's almost like Pokemon going from Pokemon Red and Blue to Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like, you see a significant amount of difference in all of the textures. You can take it a step further too. You can go Pokemon Red and Blue to Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. But just a ridiculous amount of definition between generations. I just saw a bow gun. Would you look at that? Bossler and Bosch just being powerhouses. Just about finished with this area, and I'm gonna be on to the last area in the Ogier Yensa. And I'm gonna probably pick that up tomorrow. Or later on today, just it would be another video. I'm really distraught though that a salamander N-type was in the central junction as well. That seems like all the enemies is in now, so we're on to the last area of the Ogre Yensa, platform 2, the refinery. And we'll pick this up in another video.